In 1896, an Italian economist named Vilfredo Pareto was studying the distribution of land ownership in Italy and noticed something that struck him as both strange and significant. Approximately 20% of the population owned approximately 80% of the land. Curious, he looked at other countries. The same pattern. He looked at other economic variables. The same pattern. Wealth, income, production, agricultural output. Everywhere he looked, a small proportion of inputs was generating a disproportionately large proportion of outputs. Half a century later, in the 1940s, a Romanian-American quality management engineer named Joseph Juran encountered Pareto's work and recognized something remarkable about it. The 80-20 distribution was not an economic curiosity. It was a universal pattern, one that appeared in quality defects, customer complaints, software bugs, sales performance, project risks, and virtually every business problem he had ever worked on. Juran applied Pareto's observation to quality management and named the phenomenon after him. His term for the pattern was the vital few and the useful many. The insight that in any complex system, a small number of factors is responsible for the majority of the outcomes, and that identifying and addressing those factors first is the most efficient path to improvement. The question that Pareto analysis asks is deceptively simple. Of everything that could command your attention right now, which 20% is producing 80% of your results, and therefore deserves the majority of your focus? Welcome to The Catalyst. This is episode 24. Today we cover Pareto analysis, where the 80-20 rule came from, how it manifests across business contexts, how to apply it as a practical decision-making tool, and how it connects to resource allocation, quality management, and personal productivity. The 80-20 pattern appears so consistently across business contexts that understanding its manifestations is itself strategically valuable. In sales and revenue, approximately 80% of a company's revenue typically comes from 20% of its customers. This pattern has been documented across industries from banking and insurance to technology and consumer goods. The implication is not that the other 80% of customers are valueless, but that the top 20% warrant a disproportionate investment of relationship management, service quality, and retention effort. In quality management, approximately 80% of product defects trace back to 20% of the causes. This was Juran's original insight, and it underpins the entire Six Sigma methodology. If you want to improve quality, you do not improve everything simultaneously. You identify the vital few causes and address those first. Toyota's quality management system, which has produced some of the most consistently high-quality vehicles in the world, is built on this principle. In software development, approximately 80% of software crashes and user-reported bugs are caused by 20% of the code or features. Microsoft, studying crash data from Windows in the early 2000s, found that fixing the top 20% of reported bugs would eliminate 80% of the errors and crashes users experienced. In project management, approximately 80% of project schedule and budget risk typically traces to 20% of the identified risks. The project team that tries to manage all risks with equal rigor spreads their attention so thinly that the risks that actually matter receive insufficient focus. The pattern is never perfectly 80-20. It might be 70-30 or 90-10 in a specific context. The precise ratio is not the point. The point is the structural imbalance. The reality that in virtually every complex system, the contribution of different inputs to outcomes is heavily skewed, and that most decision makers act as if it is not. Pareto analysis is a 5-step process that transforms data into prioritized action. Step 1 is identifying the problem or outcome you want to improve. This should be specific and measurable. Customer complaints, product defects, project cost overruns, employee turnover, revenue per customer segment. Pareto analysis requires data, so the outcome must be something that can be counted or measured. Step 2 is collecting and categorizing the data. Every instance of the problem or outcome is categorized by cause, type, or source. Customer complaints might be categorized by complaint type, billing errors, delivery delays, product quality, customer service responsiveness. Defects might be categorized by the step in the process where they originate. Step 3 is ranking the categories by frequency or impact from highest to lowest. This ranking is visualized in a Pareto chart, a bar chart showing categories in descending order with a cumulative percentage line overlaid. The cumulative line crosses the 80% mark somewhere in the first few bars, typically 2 to 4 categories out of 10 or more. Step 4 is identifying the vital few. The categories to the left of the 80% line on the Pareto chart are the vital few, the small number of causes that are responsible for the majority of the problem. These become the focus of the improvement effort. Step 5 is acting on the vital few. This is where the analysis becomes improvement. For each vital few category, the team investigates the root cause, often using the fishbone analysis we will cover in the next episode, and designs a specific intervention. After the intervention, the Pareto analysis is rerun to measure the impact and identify the next set of vital few causes. Pareto analysis has a powerful personal application that goes beyond quality management and business analytics. If you apply the 80-20 lens to your own working day, the question becomes, which 20% of the tasks, activities, relationships, and behaviors in your professional life are producing 80% of your results? And conversely, which 80% of what you do is contributing only 20% of the outcomes that actually matter? The answer to that question, for most professionals, is uncomfortable. The meetings that consume 4 hours of a working day may be producing far less value than the 1 hour of focused work that gets done before everyone else arrives. The customers who generate most of the service calls may be generating a fraction of the revenue. The features that consume most of the development sprint may be the ones that most users never touch. Warren Buffett's advice to aspiring investors: identify the 20% of stocks that will generate 80% of returns and ignore the rest. Is Pareto analysis applied to portfolio management? The discipline of focus is the discipline of accepting that unequal contribution is not a failure of the system. It is a structural feature of it that can be exploited. 5 things to carry from this episode. 1. The 80-20 distribution is not a rule of thumb. It is a structural feature of complex systems. In virtually every business context, revenue, defects, risks, customer value, a small proportion of causes produces the majority of outcomes. Understanding this is the foundation of effective prioritization. 2. Equal attention to all problems is rarely the most effective strategy. Spreading resources and effort uniformly across all causes, all customers, all risks, and all tasks is a prescription for mediocre outcomes across the board. Pareto analysis gives you the data to concentrate resources where they will produce the greatest impact. 3. The Pareto chart makes the vital few visible. Without a quantitative analysis, the vital few are often invisible, overridden by the noise of the useful many, which are more numerous and often more vocal. Data changes the conversation from opinion to evidence. 4. Pareto analysis is iterative. After addressing the vital few, run the analysis again. New vital few causes will emerge. Continuous improvement through repeated Pareto cycles is how organizations progressively move from reactive problem management to proactive quality design. 5. Your action. Identify one recurring problem in your work. Customer complaints, project delays, quality defects, budget overruns. Collect the data on what is causing it. Categorize the causes and build a simple ranking by frequency. The top 2 or 3 causes account for most of the problem. Start there. Coming up on episode 25 of The Catalyst, we go deeper into root cause. Fishbone analysis. The Ishikawa diagram, the cause and effect tool that takes the problem you have identified and traces it systematically back to its origins. How to structure a root cause investigation. Avoid the trap of fixing symptoms rather than causes, and design solutions that prevent recurrence rather than just treating the immediate effect. Stay tuned.